academic research for 10 or 15 to get a job. We have to train for at least 4 years before our first mission. Fun. It's a feeling unlike you've never experienced the rocket, and the feeling of stage separation, and finally the end. It's a pretty awesome experience. Over. Living in zero gravity, so we have to learn how to do things. Everything. Just put a cup down on the table, so you have to get used to using Velcro or sticking things down. We don't walk on our feet. We kind of float through the modules and use our hands to push us along. So it's like a whole different world that you have to adapt to and get used to. But it's a pretty neat experience. Over.
Without weight pulling things down off the ground, there must be a to help you move. How do you compensate for that? Over.
Interesting question. I appreciate it. As we move around, the friction of the ground doesn't slow us down, and the friction of the air that we float through slows us down, but really not that much. And when we spacewalk at the station, there's no air to slow you down. You get a sense of how to arrive at the next. Pass something to somebody, we're always throwing a ball, and the ball goes up, and then, but in space it just flies straight. So you have to get used to that kind of different physics without as much of effective gravity. Over.
This is Yusuf. Do you have any sort of internet in space? Over.
Hi Yusuf, thanks for the question. We can connect via the satellites, and so we have the ability to send emails home. We occasionally get to video chat and call back home as well. So we don't have a limited internet like you do on the ground, but we do have a pretty good connection up here. Over.
Jack, this is GB4SLS. We have you on Hamtv, so please give us all a wave. Are you ready for your next question?
I'm ready for your next question.
This is Joe. Space. Over.
Out the window, there's lots of 1,500 miles. In the lakes, I don't know if I have one favorite, but just to be able to see the Earth from up here is a pretty incredible experience. Over.
This is Oscar. What was the
I think there's lots of tasks that are different up here that you have to get used to. Mostly being able to take things out of a bag and put them down on a table to sort them out, because every time you take something out of a bag, it just floats away on you, and you always have to have a plan to tape it down. And so if you're looking for something and you're kind of tearing apart a bag to find it, you have to be careful that you don't lose everything else in that bag too. Over.
How does being in space affect the human body? Over.
We do a lot of research up here to see how microgravity affects the human body. One of the most interesting things is that most of our body is made of fluid. So on Earth, a lot of that fluid is pulled down into your legs because of the force of gravity. But up here, gravity isn't working quite the same way, so all of that fluid kind of shifts towards our head. And you can kind of see my face looks a little bit puffier than it normally would, and you can get a little congested up here because all that fluid pulled down into your stomach and your legs kind of floats all the way up into your head. Over.
This is Joshua. Is there a lot of noise on the ISS, or is it quite quiet? Over.
Another interesting thing about being in space is that there's no normal airflow. So there's no wind, there's no hot air doesn't rise because it's less dense than cold air is, because the gravity doesn't quite affect it the same way. So here on the ISS, it is loud because we have to have a lot of fans on. We keep the air too much carbon dioxide in front of us. So we pay attention to the sound levels, but there's always equipment running and fans running all the time, so it never gets quiet up here. Over.
Real time. TV4